For more on the key issues on the agenda for this year's ASEAN Summit, we're joined by Jia Xiudong. He's a senior fellow with the China Institute of International Studies. Welcome back to the show. How do you think China and ASEAN benefit each other when it comes to resolving maritime disputes?
Indeed, now China has disputes over the islands in the South China Sea. And the fundamental principle for China on these disputes is that so long as we cannot agree on the sovereignty issue, then let's shelve these differences so that we can focus on areas of cooperation between China and these ASEAN countries which have the disputes with China. And that is exactly what China is doing. For example, it has set up a fund for cooperation on maritime affairs, including navigation, rescue and disaster relief. And also, China is talking with ASEAN members about a code of conduct, which may provide guidelines for future management of the disputes.
I want to get your take on some of the other topics that could come up. Do you think the issue of anti-terrorism and ways to combat it will be discussed at the ASEAN Summit?
Well, certainly China puts anti-terrorism as one of the items for discussion with ASEAN. However, counterterrorism is not on the priority list. For China, ASEAN countries, they spend a lot of time talking about anti-narcotics because drug trafficking is a serious problem in Southeast Asia. So China is working with ASEAN countries to reduce the threat of narcotics there. And this is one of the major non-traditional security challenges facing China and ASEAN, and the two sides have achieved much progress in this regard.
What do you think would constitute a successful ASEAN summit?
No, China is working on several fronts with ASEAN members, and actually during Prime Minister Premier Li Keqiang's visit to Myanmar and also talks with ASEAN leaders, they will try to strike a treaty on friendship and good neighborliness between China and ASEAN countries. Secondly, they are trying to upgrade their free trade agreement and bring this agreement, FTA, to a new level and to make it have a high quality. And then the two sides will work on, actually focus on issues of connectivity. So China is talking with these countries to make sure that they can cooperate on infrastructure and the connectivity, both physical and on rules for trade and investment. So they have a lot on their plate.
Indeed. Jia Xiudong in Beijing, thank you so much for your time and perspective.